Hello and welcome to this Storyboard special. I'm Shibani Gharat. Joining me today from New York, we have Devika Bulchandani, Global CEO Ogilvy. She was appointed as the Global CEO of the advertising giant Ogilvy this month and also joins a growing group of Indian origin business leaders at the helm of big international, multinational corporations. Devika most recently served as the global president and CEO of Ogilvy North America and takes charge of the agency from Andy Main, who is stepping down as the global CEO. She has always been passionate about the power of creativity and making a positive impact on the society is what her peers say about her. She was the driving force behind MasterCard's long-running priceless campaign and also the fearless girl that challenged Wall Street's symbol of the charging bull with a bronze statue of a young girl, which became a symbol for gender diversity and equality. Joining us today is this fearless girl. Devika, welcome to CNBC TV18.
Thank you so much, Shibani. I'm so glad to be here.
Devika, you have joined the elite club of the Indian origin global CEOs, and not just that, one of the few women CEOs in the industry. How does that feel?
It obviously feels very good, but it also is a big responsibility, right? So there's a personal feeling, and then there's also the feeling of those that are looking at you. And I have a really nice story from the other day. I was walking in the hallway here at Ogilvy in New York, and a young girl walked up to me and she said, "You're Devika, right?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "I just want to tell you on behalf of all of us Desi girls, this means so much to me. And it just looking at you gives me so much hope." And that moment for me was just such a powerful moment. And then another woman walked in, she's from Delhi, and she said, "Devika, I just want to tell you, my parents are talking about you. And they're calling me and saying, oh my God, there's a Indian woman CEO, and that means so much." And when I thought about just both those things, it made me realize how powerful it is to see somebody like you in positions and how much hope it gives people. So yes, it feels very good on a personal level, but it also feels really good when I think about the responsibility of it and what it says to other Indian women, other women of color, other people who don't look like a majority in any community.
Yeah, and as you said, it gives hope that, something like this is, possible, is attainable. Devika, also, I was going through a couple of your interviews, and in one of them, you said that you are the fearless girl, which has also been one of your unique campaigns. The statue of the fearless girl, as we know, sends a message about workplace gender diversity and equality. You are Amritsar born, schooled, at Welham in Dehradun and graduated from St. Xavier's in Mumbai. So share with us your journey so far in advertising and what, according to you, were the key milestones in this journey, Devika?
When I started in advertising, I was one of the few Indian people. And actually, I would say few non-white American or English or Australian people. This whole industry is really sort of dominated by those three cultures. And if you think about what we do in advertising, we create culture. We tell stories about what's happening in the world and how people want to evolve their lives and what it is that they need. And when I came here, in my first few meetings, I was like, I don't know anything about American culture. I didn't know what an Oreo cookie was. I was in a meeting about Oreos and I was like, what is an Oreo? And then you hear famous things like Coke's Hilltop ad, and you hear about, Tiger in the Tank. These are real sort of iconic advertising slogans. And I was like, I don't know any of that. I don't know what it means. I don't understand it. I didn't feel it. So it took me a really long time to actually feel like I belonged. And the only time I felt I belonged is when I started accepting American culture as my own. And I have to say, as Indians, we have a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. When we come here, we always think, Indian culture, we're very proud, we know better. But it took a little humility for me to say, I need to actually step out of my, all the things that I've been programmed to do and actually learn and have an open mind. And that was a very pivotal moment in my career when I acknowledged to myself that I needed to learn. and that I needed to be open to another culture because I wasn't initially. I would say the first 7 years, I was very guarded. So that was one pivotal moment. And, you know, after that, obviously, I've had many different sort of moments. But the other pivotal moment, I'd say, is I was trained as a strategist. And then in one meeting, you know, my CEO at McCann, he called me after a meeting and said, "What do you want to do in your life?" And I was like, "What do I want to do in my life?" I didn't understand. I was like, "Is this an existential question?" And he said, I said, "I don't understand what you're asking." Finally, after having this really awkward meeting. And he said, "What I'm saying to you is you need to run something." So that transition from being a strategist, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly and I carry it with me all throughout, to actually running something, running a P&L, being responsible, was a very, very important and pivotal moment. And one that I cannot thank Harris enough for, and two that I have absolutely enjoyed, because I think when you have the true responsibility and accountability for a business is when you can make true change and impact.
Wow, that's a great thought. And, you know, also you mentioned how, you know, there were two pivotal things that you learned. One is about a completely new and a different culture, and the fact that, you know, you were told that you can run something. And these are the two learnings that will play a big role when you take on the role as a global CEO with such diverse markets and cultures that, you know, you have to look after, isn't it?
No, absolutely. I mean, I have to now go and learn about, you know, 80 other cultures, right? And that sort of learning early on to say you need to have an open mind and not impose your culture, but not impose your pre-existing sort of, you know, perceptions, but actually have an open mind was really, really sort of pivotal. By the way, also for us women, like I say, growing up in India, it's preordained what you're going to do. And I talk about this a lot. It was preordained. I was going to have an arranged marriage and I was going to possibly become a housewife in a business family. And I didn't want that preordained destiny for myself. And I think it's the same thing as a leader to say, don't assume that people want a preordained destiny. How do you have an open mind, not just to learn about cultures, but to learn about people you lead, to figure out how you lead people where they can be themselves and not become a version of me or a version of some other leader. Because I didn't want that. And I don't think that's the modern version of leadership.
That's a great thought. Also, Devika, another important thing to note that you are, you know, a career ad woman in this era when this industry is losing talent to other sectors and industries. What made you stick to this profession, this industry, for such a long time?
I want to say I love our industry. With a very, very sort of deep passion. And God bless all those people who want to go to tech, and more power to them. But we have something in this industry that no other industry has. One is creativity. And two is client relationships and platforms that span every category. So when I talk about, you know, using the power of creativity to not just move business forward, but actually be able to move the world forward, I just go, I'm the luckiest person in the world, because we have thousands of clients today at Ogilvy, from clients like Dove that are changing the world, and the recent work that just ran in India for Stop the Beauty Test, from the work that we're doing for Cadbury in India. You think about those things. We're actually changing the future of small business. Hopefully, we're going to change the way young girls look at themselves and look at themselves in the mirror. So I love what we do, and I tell every single person that if you want scalable impact, and everybody has a different mission in life, so that's why I say more power to everyone, right? If you want scalable impact, and you have some sense of the power or passion for creativity, there's no better industry.
Great.
And by the way, we get to use tech, we get to use data, we get to use all the tools, all the modern marketing tools.
Absolutely. And you get to work across diverse industries and, you know, get insights from each one of them. So I'm sure no 2 days are the same for you guys.
I always say, Shibani, I'm a very good cocktail party guest because I can talk about any industry. But if you sit me next to one single industry for dinner, then it gets a little complicated.
On that note, it is time for a short break. You don't go anywhere. We will be right back with this conversation. Welcome back. We are in conversation with Devika Bulchandani, the newly appointed global CEO of Ogilvy, about her journey taking reins of the agency and plans for the agency in the coming days. Devika, also you have taken the reins of, one of the most reputed agencies of Ogilvy at an extraordinary time. We are stepping out of the pandemic, yes, but businesses are facing inflationary headwinds. There is a global currency fluctuation, geopolitical changes, with the ongoing war, regime changes in so many parts of the world. So what do next few months hold or what do next few months look like for Ogilvy, Devika?
Look, we don't face anything that everybody else doesn't. As you named all the different sort of, the forces that we're all reckoning with from an economic standpoint. The beauty, again, I always say the beauty of what we do is I don't make one particular thing so that the cost of goods goes up in my category, right? We have creativity. So when things are in flux, the power of creativity is even more relevant and more important because it is the only variable that you can play with in a way that doesn't become more expensive, that doesn't have the same kind of headwinds that a supply chain faces, that inflation faces, that the cost of goods face. So I always say these moments are actually really pivotal for us and really important. And I talk to all our clients about it, to say it's more important for us to use creative thinking and creativity at this moment to solve problems for consumers, for human beings, for people, for society, and do it in a moment in time where everybody is feeling the pressure of all these different things. So call me a delusional optimist or an intense pragmatist. But this is our moment again.
Let me just turn the question around. So what excites you about the next few months?
There's more problems today. Great, bring it on. Because we can use creativity actually to solve those problems, to make products have greater preference in the marketplace using creativity. So when times are tough, what do I need as a client? Is I need preference for my brands. We can do that because creativity is a force multiplier. We need consumers to have more passion and loyalty for products and services. Again, we can help our clients do that using the power of creativity. We need policy to change. We need planet issues to be solved. Again, we can take those conversations. We can take those issues forward using the power of creativity.
Devika, my next question to you is, what are the key plans or focus areas for Ogilvy, if you can outline some of those for us in the next few months, probably 1 year?
There's going to be, I think I've probably used the word creativity or the power of it. Obviously, that continues to be a focus for us. That's part of our DNA and why clients come to us. So that'll continue to be a focus. The second area of focus will be what I'd say relaunching our digital experience business. We have an incredible lot of assets in different parts of the world. But I say this and then I'm going to say something which is actually what we do, but lesser known to clients for some reason. So in 2023, we're really going to focus on how we take all those assets and get awareness for them in the marketplace and with our clients so that we can help them solve those problems. We have a really incredibly strong health business. I'd like to see that scale from a global perspective. Health and wellness is one of the key areas of issues for us as humanity. And when we think about the intersection of health or technology, you think about the intersection of health and communication, intersection of health and just storytelling so people can take care of themselves better. Right? So we want to see that scale, which is going to be another massive area of focus for us. And how do we make sure, the third area I'd say is how do we make sure that the kind of work and content that we create for our clients becomes more agile, becomes more cost efficient and effective in the marketplace while being true to brand ideas. So you're going to see more focus on a content capability, but not just content in the traditional sense that we would talk about, but the intersection again of content and context, but using our global network to make sure that we can be efficient and effective.
Correct. Over the past 2 years, there have been a lot of changes in the leadership at the agency. So is finally everything settled now, or do we expect more changes, Devika?
I think everything is very settled, but I will tell you one thing. If we ever become settled and static, that is not a good place to be. But what I'd say about us at Ogilvy is we are settled and stable, I would say, but we're going to continue to evolve, right? Because that is the nature of our business. And if we stop doing that, then actually I think we're in trouble. So you're going to continue to see evolution of our business. You're going to continue to see us be able to deliver for our clients in the marketplace with new and better solutions, be it technologically enabled, data enabled, digitally enabled, but with the stability of an organization and leadership that makes sure that we're moving at a pace that our clients are requesting of us.
And to make that happen, you need to have a talent acquisition strategy in place. And this has been one of the key concerns for this industry for the past couple of years. How are you addressing this, and what will be the focus over there as you take charge?
For us, we don't have machines. We don't have anything. Talent is everything, right? Because that's what we do. We're in the professional services business. Our talent is what our clients buy from us. If our product and our reputation is good, so if you think about Ogilvy's performance in Cannes and sort of our new business performance and the kind of work we're doing, talent wants to come there, right? So we need an incredible reputation, which we have right now. And then you need incredible leadership, because people come to work for people. They don't just come to work for the organization. And then when we think about people like Liz Taylor, Mick McCabe, Chris Beresford-Hill, that's here, the leadership team, global leadership team here. But we think about in Europe, we have Patu and Fiona and Adonis from a PR perspective. We have Juliana Richter. Health, we have Kim Johnson. These are all leaders that have come together. And are actually talent magnets. That's one of the first things we do when we bring a leader on, is to say, can they get more talent? And honestly, right now, I feel like we have been incredibly lucky with an incredible performance and reputation out in the marketplace, but then with the people side, from a leader perspective, who are attracting incredible people as they go along.
Yeah, and Devika, finally, before we go, we began this conversation speaking about how, like women from your office walked up to you saying that, this gives them hope. So I'm tempted to ask you, what does it take for a woman to make it big in this business of advertising today?
The foundation of every job and every bit of success, I always say, is you've got to be really good at what you do, right? Have the skill base, have learned, have the experience. So that's the foundational bit of it. I think there is a difference today, though, in the concept of leadership than there was possibly 10 years ago. And that's the thing I focus on a lot, is being, what kind of leader do I want to be? Right? And to me, it's really important when I think about being a woman leader, not to forget that I'm a woman. And that women are fundamentally different in a lot of ways, and we need to bring that into the workplace. So let me give you an example. There was a fascinating research study done. It's been about 8 or 10 years old, but I've always found it really interesting. It asked people in 13 different countries, what are the values of leadership? And people named the values of leadership or collaboration, competitiveness, decisiveness, empathy, the kinds of things we all discussed today, right? There were 10 or 12 different attributes. And then the research study said, those, are they feminine values or male values? And guess what? 8 out of 10 of those were actually considered feminine values. Empathy, collaboration, listening. Now, by the way, decisiveness and competitiveness are also very important, which are considered traditionally masculine values. So what I'm constantly sort of really self-aware of, and the conversations I have in my own head, which I have a lot of, is how do I change the rules of the workplace, bringing the fact that I'm a woman to bear? So let me give you an example. We always say, you should never cry at work. And about 5 years ago, I was like, why? Because those rules were written by men. Actually, shedding tears in my mind is a vulnerability, is strength.
Strength, correct.
Right? Our clients want agencies, want partners that don't pretend to be holier than thou and they've figured it all out, but they want partners who are vulnerable, but also then decisive to fix those issues. Right? So I actually now talk to people. Somebody walked into my office the other day. I had to have a tough conversation and they had tears in their eyes and they were holding their tears back. And I looked at her and I said, it's okay to cry. It's actually good. Don't wear your emotions on your sleeve. Well, again, why not?
Yeah.
Women are emotional beings. And by the way, I also think men are emotional beings, but they've been wired over the years to say, don't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, boys don't cry. Boys actually do cry, I think. Don't show your emotion. You're a man. So I'm really conscious about being a different kind of leader so that we can create different cultures, as in organizational cultures, where men, women can be their better selves, where we can take all these stereotypical things that we've heard for, all our lives, and be able to evolve into just different beings. Isn't that the whole purpose of life, evolution?
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Mani.
With that, it's a wrap. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.